I always give all his credit, no, but we need to run it back. That's why my tough. When after the fight, I say we need to run it back this fight because I don't feel the way I really want, and I need to make this fight happen again, no, and it's gonna be different. I think for him to deserve all the credit, he need to give me the rematch, obviously. But I will. He decided to retire, and we need to accept that and move forward.
You know what? Sometimes you try and your body cannot go, right? That's my frustration. Maybe I can figure out Crawford, but my body cannot go anymore. So I try it, but my body just not let me go.
I have a burning question for you that I think everyone wants to know. Is there going to be a Canelo rematch? Is there a rematch clause? That's something you're thinking about?
I'm not even thinking about that right now. And quite frankly, I don't think it is a rematch clause. And if it is, nothing has been said to me about fighting him again or anything.
Do you think Canelo would want to get back in the ring with you? Or do you think it's better for him to just or more lucrative to go fight elsewhere for the rest of his career?
I think it would be better for him to fight somebody else, because my style is just, a bad match.
Terence "Bud" Crawford is not mincing words after delivering one of the most shocking performances in recent boxing history. With the dust barely settled, he's already addressing the sudden calls for a second fight from Canelo Alvarez, and he's not entertaining any of it. In Crawford's eyes, the job was done decisively. He didn't just survive a war, he controlled it. He proved he had the strategy, the composure, and the mindset to break down one of the sport's biggest icons. For Bud, this isn't about clinging to past glory. It's about drawing a line in the sand. Respect was earned that night, and he's not about to let anyone rewrite the story.
You watched the Terence Crawford Canelo Alvarez fight?
Yeah, I did.
Woo, talk about slick. Oh my goodness. Who's ever done that? Who's ever jumped up 2 weight classes like that? It's crazy.
Scary.
He's so clever, and it got to the point where he got so comfortable, he's like pit-patting him, and then like, what? And you're watching, like, this is amazing.
Like, that's history, obviously. You shouldn't be able to do that. You shouldn't be able to fight at that weight for the first time ever.
Against one of the greatest
greatest of all time, and do what you did. You're beyond an outlier.
When Crawford stepped up multiple divisions to face the naturally larger Saul, Canelo Alvarez, most believed he was taking a massive gamble. Instead, he turned the risk into a showcase. Rather than boxing on the back foot, Crawford met Canelo head-on, slicing through his offense with pinpoint counters and slick movement. The so-called king of super middleweight looked baffled, unable to solve the puzzle standing in front of him. What stood out even more than the scorecards was Canelo's reaction afterward. At the post-fight press conference, he didn't point fingers. He didn't blame circumstances. He admitted he was beaten by the better man and even went as far as praising Crawford above Floyd Mayweather. It was a rare moment of humility and sportsmanship that left fans applauding both fighters.
The comparisons that we live in right now, if you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
But months later, that gracious tone has taken a dramatic turn. The narrative coming from Canelo's camp has shifted in a way that's raising eyebrows across the boxing world. Now, the explanation centers on physical setbacks, legs that supposedly failed him mid-fight, elbow issues that required surgery, and even claims of mental fog. Boxing fans are known for having long memories, and they're not letting this slide. Social media has exploded with comparisons to past excuse-filled losses, with some even bringing up Deontay Wilder's infamous costume explanation. The abrupt change is especially surprising considering Canelo's reputation for owning both victories and defeats. And it doesn't stop there. Canelo isn't just clarifying what went wrong, he's demanding another shot. On a recent podcast appearance, he suggested that Crawford's win needs a sequel for it to feel complete. Yet here's the catch: there was no rematch clause in the original contract. Crawford deliberately removed any restrictions, even skipping a rehydration clause, because he wanted the win to be beyond question. Now, with Crawford announcing his retirement for December 2025, Canelo appears to be searching for leverage that simply isn't there.
Given a lot of credit. There's no rehydration clause, blah, blah. Oh my God, Bud's such a fighter. I'm up here making the argument. See, no excuses. He doesn't need a Mayweather rehydration clause. But really, why did he do all that? Because if you want the shot, you got to do it according to Canelo's terms.
Yes.
He still beat Canelo comprehensively and decisively. In the rematch, Crawford would be within his rights to say, okay, wait a minute. Now there's going to be a rehydration clause. Now there are going to be some things that favor me. And once that happens, it's just going to get worse for Canelo.
I wouldn't like that with Crawford's legacy. I don't think I know, but his character.
If you were Canelo, if you were Crawford, like, I understand what you mean. I already proved my point the first time. All right, you want the rematch? Okay, but now it's going to be on my conditions.
Maybe different money terms. Say you want parity and money, which obviously never has been with Canelo. Stuff like that.
See, that's my thing. You begging for this fight, and you go on these shows where he's
I don't
nice.
think he's begging for it either.
He's not begging.
I've never.
You know what? Shady loves to say that. Oh, why do you get into it with fighters? You know why? Because I interact with the fighters. Let's get Canelo here, and then you say this to Canelo.
You think I'm gonna get I don't care about none of that.
You might think that throwing a mountain of cash at a retired champion would be enough to lure him back. Behind closed doors, reports surfaced that Turkey Alashik was prepared to offer a jaw-dropping $100 million to make the rematch happen. For most fighters, that figure would end the discussion instantly. But Crawford stunned the industry again. He declined. His reasoning? Some things matter more than another payday. Bud made it clear that principles outweigh profit. In a sport often driven by massive purses and high-stakes negotiations, his refusal sent shockwaves. It's rare to see a superstar walk away from that kind of money.
$100 million for me, don't even talk to me about it. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to hear. Basically, let me translate, because we know Crawford don't like to do too much trash talking. He likes to keep it clean. What Crawford is saying to Canelo, the price on your head for a rematch is $100 million because he already collected it last time. So is not going to go with the rematch. Talk is cheap. With Crawford being the A side, with Crawford getting the lion's share, with Crawford getting fair judges, mainly, Canelo is going to say, hell nah, to the no rematch. Telling you, he's going to start speaking English again. We haven't heard Canelo speak English for a minute now, I think. As soon as they show Canelo Alvarez the realistic terms on the contract for the rematch, he's gonna wake up to reality.
The truth behind his decision isn't glamorous. When asked about potentially running it back, Crawford admitted the 36 minutes inside the ropes aren't what worry him. It's everything leading up to it. Months of punishing training camps, endless sparring sessions, the physical toll of preparing to battle someone significantly larger. He understands that every camp chips away at long-term health. And at this stage of his life, he's thinking about longevity, about waking up pain-free, about time with family, about life after boxing. For him, risking permanent damage for another check just doesn't make sense.
Knocking somebody out. Yes, that's part of it. That can happen, but boxing is a sport where you can outpoint somebody too. That's why they go to the scorecard.
I appreciate that take, bro. That's real educated, man, real thoughtful. But you ain't had a decision in a long time, bro. You known for like being a great finisher. So I appreciate that. But that ain't how you moving though.
Right.
Please explain that to me. You just saying overall.
Yeah, overall.
You say, hey, I like to do this, but this is not for everybody.
It's definitely not, because it's a price to pay. It's definitely a price to pay when you fight those type of fights.
Yeah.
When everybody thinks nothing going on. Yeah. But all them punches add up.
Yeah, buddy.
All them punches add up.
He ain't got a bruise or nothing.
Yeah.
He didn't take no punishments. Like, bro, my head hurt.
Your head hurt.
I'm in this room right now trying to get right, and y'all chilling, partying downstairs.
Yeah. Like all them punches add up. Punches in sparring add up. All them punches add up, and when one is good one day, and then it just all hit him out of the blue. He ain't even boxing no more, it just hit him. And then people be like, man, you all right, man? What's wrong with you?
You never know when that's gonna happen.
You never know. It's gonna come.
Yeah.
Stay around
long enough. Yeah.
And it's just like, dang. You know what I mean? Is you all right? Yeah, I'm good. You might start slurring a little bit. You might start forgetting a lot of things. You might get a little dementia. You might keep repeating the same thing over and over, you know, and you don't even know it, you know. But that's from all that accumulation of punches to the brain.
But I know you probably have too, I done been in the presence of fighters, bro, where that stuff is happening. And I'm like, where they say something to you and they just told you 2-3 minutes earlier, you like, brother, you just said that.
Definitely.
That's scary to me.
Definitely.
While Canelo has taken his case to interviews and podcasts, Crawford has chosen a different tactic: silence. No social media rants. No public back and forth. Just quiet confidence. That silence is louder than any press conference. It leaves critics with nothing to twist or misinterpret. After the victory, Crawford famously asked the crowd what more there was to say. By refusing to engage, he's standing by that statement. The result was unanimous. The performance was dominant. The tape doesn't lie.
For you that I think everyone wants to know: is there going to be a Canelo rematch? Is there a rematch clause? That's something you're thinking about?
I'm not even thinking about that right now, and quite frankly, I don't think it is a rematch clause. And if it is, nothing has been said to me about fighting him again or anything.
Do you think Canelo would want to get back in the ring with you, or do you think it's better for him to just kind of, or more lucrative to go fight elsewhere for the rest of his career?
I think it would be better for him to fight somebody else, because my style is just, you know, a bad matchup for him. Now, financially wise, I would be like, yeah, he should fight me. But like on the outside looking in, knowing boxing, you can really get hurt. So I would just tell him, like, if you're going to continue to fight, don't get in the ring with a guy like me.
Yeah. There's a popular adage in sports, kind of gets reused over again. It's kind of cliche. Father Time is undefeated. 38 years old. We see a lot of athletes now go into the late 30s and 40s and produce at a high level. How much longer do you want to do this?
I don't know.
No clue yet? Did beating Canelo make you think about those next steps in any way, or?
Before Canelo, I was thinking about it a lot, you know, and I'm still thinking about it a lot. I just haven't made my final decision. But once I make it, I'm going to make it, you know, and
Still, there's another layer to this situation that hardcore fans can't ignore. Across online forums and discussion boards, many are wary of boxing's political landscape. Canelo remains one of the sport's biggest financial draws and is now launching his own promotional venture. Some fans fear that if Crawford returned for a second fight, the stakes wouldn't just be athletic, they'd be political. The concern is that the business side of boxing might lean heavily toward protecting its biggest revenue generator. Whether that fear is justified or not, it's part of the conversation. And from Crawford's perspective, why step into a scenario where controversy could overshadow achievement?
I would love to see the rematch. I think in the rematch, if he comes back with the hunger that he needs, he could beat Crawford. Because Crawford, you know, is very talented, but I think Canelo could beat him. Canelo's strong, man. Canelo's strong. Canelo could take a good punch. So I think he could just go and don't respect his punch and throw punches even though you're gonna get hit. But don't give up. Keep going until you hit him. I think rematch with Canelo would be the best.
Of course, the what-if question won't go away. If Crawford did reverse course and return in 2026, the rematch would be massive. It would dominate headlines and shatter viewership numbers. But analysts are warning that the outcome might look painfully familiar for Canelo. The first encounter wasn't razor-thin. Crawford controlled the pace and dictated the exchanges. As boxing analyst Wade Plemon recently suggested, a second meeting could be even tougher for Alvarez.
Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez are apparently in talks for a rematch in 2026, and my only question is why? Why? Outside of a mass...
Plemon pointed out recurring flaws in Canelo's style, limited foot movement, long stretches of inactivity, and a tendency to plant his feet too firmly. Against most opponents, those habits don't cost him. Against someone as adaptable as Crawford, they become glaring weaknesses. In their first bout, Crawford capitalized on every hesitation. According to Plemon, Canelo would need serious adjustments in the gym before even considering another contract. Meanwhile, Crawford already holds the blueprint that dismantled him once.
Gonna go very well. For one, Saul. Canelo Alvarez, know how this goes well for Canelo in a rematch. Honestly, you look at the first fight, and the things that plagued Canelo were essentially the things that plague him against most boxers. His flat feet, his lack of movement, his lack of volume. He couldn't get to Terence. He was overextending. He was getting caught with counter shots as he overextended. The big shown around, memed, and replayed moment of the fight is Canelo trying to throw a hook and a right hand, and Terence Crawford slipping on the outside and banging the left hand counter behind it. Canelo was beaten to the punch from distance. He was beaten in exchanges, and even in points in the fight, he was beaten inside by Terence Crawford. This was I wouldn't say dominant, but I would say more one-sided than I thought win for Terence Crawford, where he flat out outboxed Canelo, and he took Canelo's power. Like, there were times where Canelo landed the big right hand, and Terence Crawford took it. So what would be different if they fought again? The only different thing that potentially could happen would be in Canelo's hands. He would have to find ways to be different, and as much as I would love to believe that's possible, Canelo getting up there in age, I understand Terence Crawford is older, but Terence Crawford already fights at a way that's advantageous versus Canelo. He doesn't really have to change much, and he's fighting up a couple of weight classes from where he normally did, so he doesn't have to really worry about a weight cut either, and he's filled into that weight class because he looked just as big, if not bigger, that Canelo Alvarez did.
Pleman added that Canelo's only path to victory involves showing up at his absolute peak, sharper, faster, and far more aggressive. He referenced one of Alvarez's standout past performances as proof that the talent is there. But talent alone won't be enough. Every tactical error from the first fight would need correcting, and the intensity would have to be relentless from opening bell to final round.
Realistically think Canelo could and should and would do differently for this fight is he would have to fight Terence Crawford like he fought Sergey Kovalev at 175. That's genuinely what he would have to do. He'd have to be lighter on his feet, he'd have to throw more combinations, and he'd have to be quicker with his hands, as he was in that fight. And I'm not saying that he changes everything about himself. Canelo had success in moments with Bud Crawford, but that's what he would have to do, and some, right? He would have to be able to add layers to his game and not be so flat-footed. And if he's going to combination punch, he's got to do so in the fire with Terence Crawford, which going into the first fight, I didn't think Terence Crawford was going to have as much success with his combination punching because he'd have to be in front of the powerful hands of Canelo, but again, he was able to do so off the back foot and front because Canelo threw one at a time. He threw the jab or the right hand, or he threw the hook right hand, and again, Terence Crawford remained mostly southpaw, which does give Canelo problems because now he has to lead with his backhand versus punctuate with it, and his jab gets neutralized, and it's just a mess of a fight for Canelo. It really is. I don't hate that he wants to get that back, and the matchup itself is, again, one of the only ones that Canelo can still have. Make a shit ton of money and potentially not completely kill his...
Now the question shifts to you. Are Canelo's recent comments hurting his legacy? Or does the boxing world deserve one more blockbuster showdown? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what's next. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Time he saw him, and maybe you could say, listen, Canelo just needed to see him one time to figure out that puzzle, right? He figured out Triple G, was able to re-implement it in the rematch, and then the third fight, it was not even a great fight. Canelo just did what he wanted. But this is not the case, I don't think, with Crawford. I think Crawford just has a style that is really, really tough for Canelo, and I'll be honest, if they fought again, it would be more dominant for Terence Crawford. I truly think if in 2026 they book this rematch, I think Crawford dominates him even worse. And I'm not saying he stops Canelo because I don't know if that's something that Terence could get at 168 because Canelo's chin has still really never been tested like that. Like, he didn't really get hurt in the Crawford fight. He just got outboxed. But maybe he potentially would be able to stop him. But I just think it would be more one-sided than we saw in the first fight and would just reestablish that Terence Crawford is that fucking guy in this sport right now. The top guy, the head honcho in this sport, which is, I don't know. I mean, is it dangerous to Canelo's legacy to lose to the best of this era and the best of the era previously? I don't know. Like, did Canelo ever have an era where he was the best in the world? Maybe that's the question he's still trying to answer himself, and why he would want this rematch with Crawford. But when I see this news coming out of him wanting the rematch, having the elbow surgery, maybe in his mind going, okay, my elbow wasn't fresh, I wasn't able to turn my shots over, so that's why I can win this rematch. I like the competitive nature of it. I don't like the fight for him. I think the matchup's all wrong for Canelo. I think this style of fight, in terms of what Terence Crawford does well, is counterpunching off the front and back foot, his ability to go from range with his jab, be inside with it too, protect himself, catch counter with punches. You've got just a different timing than Canelo really has on his punches, and then you pair it with the volume that Terence Crawford can throw, and his feet, and his angles.
Even then, Plemen isn't convinced it would matter. His prediction remains firm. Crawford's skill set presents stylistic problems that Canelo may never fully solve. The adaptability, the ring IQ, the timing, it's a combination that simply doesn't mesh well for Alvarez. From that perspective, moving forward might be wiser than revisiting a puzzle that's already been solved.